Welcome to my humble office. Thanks for stopping by. Happy to answer any questions that you have about Walls of Benin or myself as founder. Sure. Going right back to the beginning, my family are from Cameroon. Both my parents are from northwest Cameroon, Bamenda to be specific. And my father had a scholarship to study pharmacology at Manchester University, and so he moved over. And my parents say that they were planning to go back, but well, one thing led to another. My mother got pregnant, and well, they didn't. And so I was born and raised in Manchester. So education-wise, professionally, business is what I studied for my first degree, and then postgrad in education. And I had a very varied experience. I was a teacher for a couple of years on a program and did a bunch of other things, but I've always been a merchant, a trader, an entrepreneur, taking after my grandfather, my mother's father. I always had that DNA, and I'm dyslexic too, so I think that really has shaped my outlook on life and what I'm doing now. And in fact, it's funny, my first ever business, and I remember this so vividly, even though I was very, very young, my first ever business, I would sell bonbon from Cameroon, these sweets made by a company called Choco Cam, and I'd sell them in the school playground, and I'd add a little import tax. I knew that they were more valuable, that they were a bit special because they were from Africa. You couldn't just get them anywhere. So that was so it's quite ironic what I'm doing now. I decided to be in the fashion business because I believed that I could. That was the first thing. I thought, well, you know, I have got a pretty well-developed sense of style, taste, aesthetics. You know, I'm pretty solid, I would say, in that respect. And I had a perspective, so I knew I could do it. And I thought that, in addition to the business acumen, is a win. You know, it's often the other way around. You get creatives that are maybe not so good with the business, but I approached the business of creativity from the perspective of a businessman who happens to be creative. So that's the first thing. But also in fashion, I found an industry and an area where I could fulfill my two chief aims in life, which is to create a lot of wealth, and I'm very kind of honest and upfront about that. But I want to do it in a positive way, and I want to make a difference and a positive impact in the world. I want my work to be about making an impact and making money as well. So that was fashion made in Africa. You know, I think without that element, maybe I don't know if I would still be as involved as I am, but that was what got me into the game. Wow, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Well, I would say that there isn't just one. So maybe the short answer is I'm most proud of the fact that I'm here answering these questions. I'm proud of the fact that I had the the vision, the discipline, and the focus to make this happen and to do this at a professional level. I mean, it's been a huge sacrifice, and it's been incredibly challenging to get to this point, and I'm glad to be sitting here right now. But in addition, this whole process, I mean, there have been so many experiences and achievements that I'm really proud of. I think for me, I really love first times. The first time doing something new, first time experiencing or achieving something. It's like crossing a milestone, because it's going to happen again, and the only way is up. So I've had a few of those throughout this process. I mean, recently, just yesterday, I had my debut on national television, you know, like in a foreign country. That was really awesome. So I'm very proud of that. I was very proud about raising money. My first big transaction. Well, big transaction. My first significant transaction. Again, from a foreign government. You know, so I was very proud with that, and just the way it came together and the people that were involved. It was an amazing feeling. I literally didn't sleep that night. Proud of that. Proud of being on an inquiry committee for the all-party parliamentary group for trading out of poverty, and producing a report on the ability for the Commonwealth to help countries trade out of poverty, on a committee chaired by Lord Purvis, James Cleverly MP, and the Nigerian Trade Minister Enelema. Really proud of the first proper collection that I made, which is the current collection. So I mean, it's a capsule, but it's the first. You know, I'm not from the fashion world. I didn't study to do any of this. So all those things make me really proud, and I think are positive signs for the future. A few things. Vision has been very important. Having a vision about where things are going, and being able to see past the fog and the hard times and the anxiety that can come with doing something for the first time, and really working things out and being out of your comfort zone. So vision is very important, and belief in addition. You need lots of that for when you're really, you know, when you're going to the House of Lords and interviewing people from you know, various Geneva organizations, and from government. I mean, and you know, politicians. I mean, that, you know, you need to have belief, vision. Discipline is very, very important. Discipline and focus, because business is challenging, constantly solving problems, untying knots. So lots of discipline, and obsession helps. Obsession helps a lot. Maybe a touch of madness, I don't know. So the Portuguese call their shoe industry the sexiest industry in Europe, and I feel that the African fashion industry, or niche segment, whatever you want to call it, is probably the sexiest. it's super exciting. I mean, it's hugely exciting because it's kind of it's it's new, but at the same time it's centuries old, and it's really dynamic. I mean, we're talking about a load of countries. We're talking about a huge diaspora with different influences. So I mean, it's like a melting pot of different influences and excitement. And in the in terms of organization and fashion weeks and these sorts of things, there's no Vogue Africa. I think Naomi Campbell was talking about that last week. It's still very new in that sense. So there's so much more to come. There are so many things to happen. So yeah, it's the sexiest fashion industry in the world, maybe. So yeah, I think the Fashionomics program is fantastic. I know Emanuela. She's doing great work, and it's really important to have that champion, that voice, and the fact that it's the African Development Bank adds a bit of weight. I think going forward, I would like to see it evolve, and I'd like them to raise a fund and release some money to some financial support to promising entrepreneurs and projects and companies in this space. I think that there's a lot of support for aid for trade. There's a lot of donor money from foreign governments, etc. There's a lot of impact investment. I hope that they can tap into that and find the right partners to create a fund so that the industry can go further, faster. It's very difficult going forward in a business with retained earnings. Things happen incredibly slowly. Investment is needed to really power massive action and massive things happening. So that would be it. And but I think that's coming soon. Fingers crossed.